When a business user submits a cloud governance service request, that request is then routed to the approver or approvers who receive a notification in their inbox. In the notification, they can click on Task to open up the Cloud Governance portal and review all the information that was entered into that service request. The most common actions for service requests are approve and reject, but we can also turn on edit. Edit gives the approver the ability to change some of the information in the service request to make corrections. It's possible some of the configurations that the user picked when they were filling out the service request don't match their description of the request. It's possible that something they chose doesn't match team policy, and therefore I do want to approve their request in general, but maybe something needs to be modified. To do that, as the approver up at the top, I can click Edit. Once the form loads, it's essentially the same thing that the business user would have seen and filled out when they made their original request. In our example here, let's say they selected public, but we only want to allow for private teams. I'll make that change. I can even fix typos in things like the notes. Then we click Next. We can review the contact information, add or remove team members. Next. And then we get to the majority of the settings for this particular type of request, which is to provision a new Microsoft team. I go through, and as I scroll down, I can see that they're allowing guests to perform certain actions. Again, maybe this runs counter to what we do within our department, so I can clear those check marks. Please note, when configuring this service back in Cloud Governance, there is an option to notify the original submitter of the request if it's been approved but edited. If you check that box, then after the approver approves, the original requester will get an email. As I scroll down through the rest of the options here, maybe everything looks fine. We're ready to go. So down at the bottom, I click Submit. Now we can see, if we review, I can see my edits in place, including, again, things like fixing that typo. The team will now be private versus public. And as we scroll down, my guest permissions are set to no. Everything looks good, and now I'm willing to approve. And we click Submit. Now the way you enable that functionality is back in Cloud Governance. We go into Settings. We go into the service itself, and here is that service I was just looking at. And all the way down towards the bottom, we have Allow Approver to edit this service request. So when I was building the service request originally, or at this time, if I wanted to turn that on, I could deactivate the service, edit it, and then flip that switch, save, and then reactivate it so again it's available to my users. But here we turned it on when we created the service, and that enables that edit functionality up at the top for your approvers. Thank you for watching this short video on how service request approvers can edit service request details using Cloud Governance.